Well, guys, it's time. It is time to review another Star Wars movie. Yes, we're gonna be reviewing another. I'm gonna be reviewing another Star Wars movie for you guys. Yippee! More Star Wars, right? Yep, another Star Wars movie. It's actually, if you guys can hear outside, it's like the middle of the night and stuff. I wanted to do this during the daytime. I did, but here's the thing. I've been tired all day long. I slept like 12 hours, and like I went to bed. I didn't want to go to bed super early last night, but I went to bed around 11 o'clock, and I woke up around 11, and then not only that, I woke up, around 11, and I took my medicine, and I got tired again. I'm guessing because my medication, I have a higher dose, and even then, I haven't taken it in a while, because, I haven't taken it in a while because because it hasn't been getting filled right. So, yeah, I took it, and it probably made me tired. If you guys don't know, it's the medication. It helps me focus. So I took that, and I went to sleep for about a couple hours, and then I went to sleep again. Like, I woke up, was making dinner, and I got tired again, and then I went back to bed for a couple hours. So I've been sleeping a lot today, and I'm still tired now, but I'm not super tired like I was earlier. So I figured I'd make the video right now, because I want to make other videos for you guys this week, and I want to have time to do them, so yeah. But anywho, now that I explained myself here and why I'm outside and stuff, because I want to have time to do this tomorrow, I want to have time to, make other videos tomorrow, I will state that I will be trying to finish the Star Wars movies up the next couple weeks so I can move on to Sony and DreamWorks. Because personally, I'm going to probably try to do both of them at once, like in 1 week, because there's so many films that I want to get to the Disney ones. So I'll be trying to do that. But anywho, now I got that out of the way, please remember, guys, to subscribe to my channel. It would really help me out a lot. And if you guys, subscribe, you guys can be notified for future videos. Anywho, without any further ado, now that I've got that long introduction out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about this movie. So this is officially Disney's first actual Star Wars movie they made. Yes, this is the first one. This is the first movie they made. But yeah, this is the first movie they made. Now technically they did make I think they made the Star Wars Rebels movie, and they also made a Phineas and Ferb Star Wars movie, but the Phineas and Ferb one was actually pretty good, coming from someone that actually really isn't into Phineas and Ferb that much. I'm really not gonna lie. I know, it's crazy, right? But I'm really not a big fan of Phineas and Ferb. I probably should be watching more episodes first before I start saying my thoughts on it. But what I've seen of Phineas and Ferb, yeah, I didn't really get into the show too much, but that's just my opinion. But I did remember liking the Star Wars movie, so I don't know. But yeah, I remember seeing Rebels a long time ago. I actually have it on DVD. I don't have the Clone Wars movie on DVD, but I do have this one on DVD. I might review it down the road, but right now I'm not going to review it because I want to review these movies here. This is technically, though, the first official theatrical release movie that came out with Disney when they bought Lucasfilm. Yes, it was the first one. And this film, funny enough, and that goes for the rest of them too. At least the sequel trilogy. They came out during like Christmas time and stuff, like around Christmas time, like around December and stuff. That's when they came out. I assume they did that because a lot of kids are off school and stuff for, the holidays, so that's probably why they did that. See, George Lucas, when he made the movies, a lot of times they came out in spring, while these come out, like, way later in the year, and they come out, like, around December. So it's pretty interesting that when you think about it like that, but that's true. That's really what they did. It makes sense, though, because it's owned by Disney now, not George Lucas anymore, so it makes sense they kind of changed it up a bit, from them releasing it in the spring to releasing it in the winter, so it was pretty interesting, so yeah, it's pretty interesting. I just wanted to point that out for you guys, because I thought it was interesting. Now, the film itself, though, I gotta say, though, a lot of people were really happy to see more Star Wars, because people were kind of mixed on the prequels, honestly. Some people thought they were good, some people despised the prequels, except the Revenge of the Sith. People seem to really like that movie, but people really hated the first two, movies and stuff and all that, and although they had the Clone Wars show, which did really well, the movie didn't do very well. The movie was horribly received, but the show did very well. But the movies, a lot of the stuff wasn't doing very good, so George Lucas sold it, and people were happy. They were hoping Disney would save it. Of course, over time, though, they ended up running the franchise into the ground. That's what Disney does. But people were hyped about this one, and I heard mixed up feelings for this movie. I heard mixed reviews. Some people really like this movie. Some people think it's the best of the sequel trilogy, and some people think it's just a ripoff of A New Hope. So what do I think of this movie? What do I think of it? I hate to say it, but I agree with people. I think this is kind of a knockoff of A New Hope. It is kind of a knockoff of A New Hope. Now, they do have some original stuff in here, like they have, Rey being kind of this poor person. She's very poor. She's desperate for money. She's selling parts and stuff to this guy. And then we do have, Finn being secretly a stormtrooper and all that, and we do get some original stuff like that, but I feel like it's very similar, in some points, to A New Hope. Basically, their plan is, in this movie, is to blow up the Super Death Star. Yeah, there's a Super Death Star. I don't know why there's a Super Death Star, but there is. There's a Super Death Star. Despite that they've freaking already done this, twice already. They did this in A New Hope, and they did this in, they did this in the Return of the Jedi, so I'm like, why do they need to do this again? I really don't get this. And apparently this Death Star can blow up freaking multiple planets at once. I guess it's called a Super Death Star for a reason. I don't think that's actually what it's called, but that's what I'm gonna call it, because it's a freaking Death Star that can blow up several planets at once, but I gotta say, yeah, that's kind of a knockoff of what we've already seen. And then we get the Jedis are extinct. Didn't we already see that in A New Hope? Wasn't the whole point of A New Hope was to bring back the Force with Luke and Skywalker and stuff? That was the whole point, to do that. And then we also get Kylo Ren, which is basically Darth Vader. Only Darth Vader is better. Kylo Ren isn't awful in this movie. I can't say anything about the other two, but he's not awful in this movie, but he's okay, but he's got, sometimes he throws these tantrums, these stupid tantrums, where he's freaking hitting stuff with his sword and stuff, and I think it's just kind of stupid. Some people might find it entertaining, but I think it's kind of stupid. I mean, to be fair, his grandfather, Anakin Skywalker, did have anger problems. He had anger problems, but this is taking, I think, a little too far by making him kind of, just this whiny guy who freaking destroys things, with freaking breaking things with his lightsaber. I think it's just kind of stupid. Now, some people, for the lightsaber itself, some people think the lightsaber itself actually looks kinda weird. Why does it look like a T? I don't mind the lightsaber design. I think it's pretty unique, honestly. It doesn't really serve much of a purpose. It's just two tiny little blades attached to a big one. but I think it looks pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. It doesn't serve any purpose, like, it's just there to look cool, but I think it does look cool. I think the filmmakers that did prove that they can make a weird looking lightsaber that has no purpose, it's make it look actually cool looking, because it does. I don't think it's necessary, because again, like, why does there need to be two little blades on a lightsaber? But I think it works because I think it looks pretty cool. So it's one of those things, I think I kind of don't like it and I kind of like it at the same time. So yeah, but yeah, Kylo Ren is okay. He's okay and all that. I think he's just alright. And then we also get introduced to Han Solo again. We get introduced an old Han Solo. Like, he's an old Han Solo. Like, he's, because, the highlight of this movie was to bring back, the original, characters from the first three films that George Lucas made. And they brought back, like, Princess Leia and Luke Skywalker and all that, and Han Solo. Now, Luke Skywalker, he doesn't really appear till the end of the movie. And here's the thing with Han Solo and Luke Skywalker. This is something I don't really like about what they did to them in this movie. They made them like cowards. Yes, they made them like cowards. They basically made them go out of hiding from the Republic, like cowards. Like, why do they do that? I mean, yeah, Yoda and Obi-Wan, hid from the Sith and stuff. They hid from the Sith, but They hid because their purpose was to train Luke Skywalker to become the Jedi Master. That was their purpose. They were training Luke Skywalker to become a Jedi Master. But what's Han Solo and Luke's excuse? Well, Han, I'm not sure. I didn't follow exactly why he left the Republic. But I do know that, like, Luke Skywalker apparently is out hiding because one of his students turned into the dark side, which is Kylo Ren, and instead of trying to help face him and fight him, they instead make him go hide on this planet. Like, I really don't get that. Like, why do they make him go hide like this? This isn't Luke Skywalker. This isn't like Luke Skywalker. It's just kind of stupid. Like, it's kind of stupid. I'm not gonna lie. It's stupid. Like, he just goes and he's just hiding on this planet by himself, and it's not that he's there to train Rey, because he doesn't even know who Rey is. Like, he doesn't even know who she is. He's just hanging out on this planet. Like, it would make more sense if he was like Yoda, where he's just hiding on this planet, waiting for Rey to come so he could train her. But no, he's just on this planet hiding from the Republic, which is not what Luke Skywalker was. Luke Skywalker was a brave Jedi who cared for his friends. Heck, in Empire Strikes Back, he went, basically just like, he was training with Yoda, and he went to go save his friends. Even he sensed they were in trouble and went to save them. So Luke had courage. Luke was, this Jedi who had courage, and he had some flaws. Yeah, he had some moments where he did lose his temper, like, his father. But he had hope, and he was. And even when Vader, became, like, when he sensed Vader was a good guy, he tried to bring him back to the Force, and he succeeded. So clearly that Luke Skywalker is good. This one's just kind of just hiding out, like, on a planet by himself, and just, I mean, it's a brief scene, like, it's just a brief scene, like, that's what Han was talking about, it's just a brief scene, but I just think it's kind of a nitpick. Like, it's not the main focus, though, because they mainly focus trying to find Luke Skywalker. That's their focus, they find Luke Skywalker. He's just hanging out on this planet, though, and, he's just, hanging out on there, like, but that's basically the end of the movie. Basically, the focus of the movie is trying to find him, and trying to stop Kylo Ren and stuff, and all that. So yeah, and I also need to bring this up, too, because I thought this was interesting. Apparently, too, once again, the Star Wars opening theme is actually different. Yes, it's different. The music sounds a bit different. I'm not sure why they kept changing it, but, like, Like the original trilogy, the music's more instrumental. I'm not sure if it's like that in original copies of the movies, but I do know the ones I watched were more instrumental. If you play the Lego Star Wars Complete Saga game, it'll do the same thing. It'll play the more instrumental music, and the prequels will have like a less instrumental, music. But then you got the, the sequel trilogy, which is playing, a different version of the music. You can tell it sounds a bit different. It's not bad, but I'm just like, why do they need to keep changing it, I am happy to see it back return, though, after being gone, and it was one-off films that I talked about, the Solo and, in Road One, which both films didn't have the theme in there at all. But this one did, which I felt like made the films kind of feel not like Star Wars, but I'm glad that they've returned in this movie here, so that's pretty good. But yeah, I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, also speaking of Solo, this is probably, honestly, probably a death that, like, I'm not really the hugest fan of, but yes, Solo dies in this movie. He dies. For people who have not seen the film, which I'm sure a lot of people have, because the movie made, like, billions of dollars, and it was well received, despite the mixed opinions on it. It did make over $1 billion, which this is something I will believe, because there's movies that Disney has produced that I don't believe down the road. There are movies I don't believe that they actually made, like the live-action Lion King movie and all that. I don't believe those made billions of dollars, considering a lot of people hate those films. While this one, people seem to actually think the film was actually, decent, at least. But yeah, this movie did make billions of dollars, so I assume a lot of people probably went to see this, but this is for people who have not seen it. Yeah, this movie, Solo dies. He actually gets killed off. Kylo Ren kills him, and I gotta admit, the scene itself is okay. I mean, I think it's touching until, Kylo Ren goes back and kills Solo. I assume it looked like he was trying to fight himself, like he was fighting himself. Yes, he was fighting himself, and he was fighting to save his, trying to fight himself, but he couldn't resist, and his evil counterpart killed Solo and all that, his dad. So that was a pretty sad scene, but personally, I don't like how they killed him off. I think they heard, this is rumors, but I heard they killed him off because the actor Harrison Ford didn't want to play Solo anymore, so they killed him off. Which is kind of stupid, because like I said, if Harrison Ford doesn't like playing Solo, why would they freaking make him, why would they make him, why would they, make him, play, why would he play this character if he doesn't like playing him, I mean, I really don't get that. Like, if he doesn't like playing Solo, make someone else play him. I really don't get it. But yeah, I guess it makes sense to more have an older version of that looks like him, play him, than having him keep him alive and stuff and all that. But to be fair, this is actually the last of the sequel trilogy that had Princess Leia alive, and they kept her CGI, so they could have just done Solo too. I really don't know, but it's just kind of stupid. Like, I really don't know why they had to kill him off. I mean, it was sad. It was a sad death, but I really hate how they just killed him off like that. Like, I especially hate how he's he's back to, being Solo and causing deals and stuff. Like, people are out to get him and stuff again, despite that, in the original trilogy, they were building him up as a hero and not like an anti-hero where he only is doing stuff for money. They go right back to him, wanting money, screwing people over and stuff, because they find him on the ship and stuff and they're trying to screw him over, so I don't know, it's just kind of, it's kind of stupid and all that, but yeah, sadly they kill off Solo and all that, which is very sad. But yeah, it's kind of sad. And speaking of the Solos, where we see Solo and stuff, there's also a scene, I can't remember if this is before or after, like, Solo appeared, but there's a scene where, like, Finn is, like, Rey is asking for tools to fix a ship, like, and Finn can't, like, figure out what tools to use or something. I'm not sure if he's on pressure or what. I think it's because people can act kind of dumb when they're on pressure. You're talking about me. When people are asking me for stuff, I kind of get pressured and I act kind of dumb sometimes. But I think they just didn't know what they were really doing with him in this scene. But he's like, he can't figure out what tools to use, despite him being a damn stormtrooper. Yeah, he's a freaking stormtrooper, and he doesn't know what tools and stuff to freaking fix a ship. I mean, I guess it could make sense because maybe he's a stormtrooper and never flew a ship, but I would think that he would know how to fly a ship, though, because, like, stormtroopers are supposed to be trained pilots or something, in case, they're a master or their leader gets hurt or something, but I don't know, it's kind of stupid. He doesn't know what tools to fix a ship, but he's a stormtrooper, It's kind of dumb, though. It is kind of dumb, but speaking of Finn, though, I should bring this up too, that he apparently he turns good because he accidentally kills one of his kind, like not killing one. He doesn't kill his kind, but one of his kind gets killed and he's hurt, and apparently he basically turns to the good side because of that. But yet he goes and kills stormtroopers anyway. So I'm like, why make him feel bad for one of his buddies getting killed, but then him turning around and later in the movie and killing stormtroopers? I don't really get that. Speaking of stormtroopers, I don't really get how there can be. I really don't get how there can be people like that are just normal people in stormtrooper stuff. Considered that basically the that, like, in the Clone Wars, they're supposed to be clone troopers. They're supposed to be clones of troopers. So like why do they make them, like, actually people? I really don't get that. Like, I don't even know how they're still under the Sith's control, because Palpatine was the one who Palpatine is the one who is controlling them, so I really don't know how they're still under his control. But we kind of get that later, but we'll get to that. We'll get to Rise of Skywalker eventually. We will, but I still think it's kind of dumb. Like, this is before they kind of flip-flopped around with the stories and stuff. But I still don't think it makes sense why why they have it. Stormtroopers and stuff and all that, so yeah, but yeah, so overall, though, there's a lot of, I gotta say, there's a lot of things that I do not like, do question in this film, but there are things I do like about this film. Like I told you guys, I think Kylo Ren is okay, and I do like the fact that they have even though it doesn't make much sense, I do like how Finn is secretly a stormtrooper who becomes good. I think that's, nice and all. I think, though, I'm gonna go ahead and give this film a meh, and this movie here is gonna get 52 points, as you guys can see right there. Yes, 52 points. This film is definitely, this film, in my opinion, this film is definitely kind of, kind of mediocre. I mean, it's not boring. It's just like I feel like there's a lot of like mistakes in this movie. There's a lot of mistakes and stuff I'm questioning. This is honestly not a good sign for what's to come on the sequel trilogy. To be honest, this is not a good sign. But this is not a bad film. This is not a I gave this one a meh because despite it having a lot of flaws with it, I still think it's got good stuff into it. But I think that so far, I think the prequels, despite them having pacing problems, I think they're just so far better. Like, I think them having their own like army instead of reusing stormtroopers is better, and all that. I think they're a bit better. But this film, though, I think them reusing stormtroopers kind of works, making Finn kind of a stormtrooper and stuff. But I think though it's just I think they kind of rush it a little bit. I feel like they kind of rush it. Like they don't really tackle it too much. I feel like they kind of use him. They use him to figure out where the weakness is of the super Death Star. But they do that. But I think it's all right, and we get some fighting moments with lightsabers, which I think the moments are okay. Like, I don't think they're the best lightsaber battles, because like there's one point where Rey closes her eyes, tries to use the Force and closes her eyes. But yeah, she closes her eyes and basically like she closes her eyes while Kylo Ren is fighting her with a sword. I'm like, Kylo Ren could easily just kill her right there, but I don't really get that. Speaking of Rey, they kind of make her a bit too powerful. Like, I mean, I guess they do make her struggle a little bit in this film, which I like, but there's moments where, like, she just suddenly knows how to, like, mind control people and stuff. Like, she knows how to mind control people. Despite that, she just now figured out she's a Jedi, and she just suddenly figures it out. She's a Jedi, and but she can mind control people. So I'm like, I really don't get it. Like, I don't really get it at all. Like, I think overall this film is definitely just meh, in my opinion. It's basically kind of a knockoff of A New Hope. They do have some new stuff in there, but nothing really worthwhile. The action sequences are fine. They're not nothing like spectacular. I think overall this film is just alright. I personally probably wouldn't watch this film again, though, to be honest. Despite that I gave it a mag, just because there's not really a lot really to go back to. But I wouldn't give it a bad because there's not enough really. There's not enough, stuff in this movie to actually that's horrible to give this movie a bad. But I definitely think this is so far my least favorite of the Star Wars movies I reviewed. Of course, there's always the Clone Wars movie, and there's also the holiday special, which I think that was a movie. I thought it was a movie at first, but then there's according to Phantom Strider, I watched a top 10 on him, like, on older video where he was doing a top 10 on the worst movies of all time, and he talked about how it's like a show or something, too, with cartoon animation. So I'm really not sure, but I think that might have been a movie. I'm not sure, but yeah, overall, though, I just think this is probably, so far, my least favorite movie, and like I said, that's not a good sign for what's gonna come, because we still have The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, and those movies I hear are awful, but we'll have to see here. We'll have to see how they are, but yeah, I'm not really the biggest fan of this movie. I think this movie has its moments, but I just think, I just think A New Hope did a lot of this stuff better and all that, but I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and let things go from here, though. Also, one more thing I forgot to mention, too. For some reason, in this movie, they call Princess Leia General Leia in this movie, too. I figure that's just a little weird thing to point out, but yeah, she's called General Leia, not Princess Leia, so yeah. But anywho, I'm going to go ahead and let things go from here. See you all next time. Anywho, peace.